Faizan was a billionaire. He had everything money could buy, a huge mansion, fast cars, and a life many dreamed of. But despite all his wealth, Faizan felt lonely. His large house was empty most of the time. His busy work kept him away from friends and family, and his heart longed for something more than riches. One cold and rainy night, Faizan sat alone by the window, watching the rain fall hard outside. The wind howled and the trees bent under the storm. Suddenly he heard a soft, quiet sound outside his big gate. It was the sound of someone crying. Curious, Faizan put on his coat and stepped outside into the storm. The rain soaked him quickly, but he did not care. As he walked toward the gate, the crying grew louder. There, huddled under a small tree by the driveway, were two children, a boy and a girl. They looked no older than 8 or 9 years. Their clothes were wet and torn, and their eyes were red from crying. The boy was trying to comfort his sister, but she kept sobbing softly. Faizan's heart felt heavy. Who could have left these poor children alone on such a stormy night? Without thinking twice, he knelt down and gently asked, "Hey, are you both okay? What are you doing here all alone?" The girl looked up at him with tearful eyes, but didn't answer. The boy whispered, We have nowhere to go." Faizan's heart melted. He carefully picked them up and took them inside his warm house. He gave them dry towels and blankets. The children shivered as the warmth slowly reached their cold bodies. He made them some warm milk and sat with them near the fireplace. Slowly, the children began to calm down, feeling safer for the first time in a long while. Faizan looked at them and wondered, who are they? Why were they left here alone in the rain? What is their story? He wanted to know everything, but the children seemed too scared to speak. They held on to each other tightly, afraid of the strange new place and stranger man. Faizan felt a strong desire to protect them. For the first time in a long time, he felt needed. His lonely heart found a new purpose. That night, as the storm raged on outside, Faizan stayed awake, watching over the children. He promised himself he would keep them safe no matter what. But as the night passed, questions filled his mind. How did they come here? Were they lost or were they running from something? Why had no one else noticed them before? The house was quiet except for the soft breathing of the sleeping children. Faizan sat by the window, thinking deeply. Then, just as the first light of dawn appeared, a sudden loud knock came from the front door. Faizan's heart jumped. Who could it be so early in the morning? He opened the door to find 2 police officers standing outside. Their faces were serious, and they looked at Faizan with careful eyes. "Good morning, sir," one of them said. "We are here about these children." Faizan felt a chill run down his spine. "What about them?" he asked. The officer explained that the children were reported missing from a nearby town. The police had been searching for them for hours. Faizan nodded, feeling the weight of the situation grow heavier. He invited the officers inside to talk. The twins sat quietly nearby, holding each other, not understanding what was happening. Faizan knew that his simple act of kindness was about to become more complicated. Questions raced through his mind. Why were the children missing? Who had left them alone? And what dangers were waiting ahead? The police promised to investigate, but Faizan also promised the children he would protect them no matter what. As the officers left, Faizan closed the door slowly, looking back at the 2 children who now slept peacefully in his home. He whispered softly, "You are safe here. I will find out the truth, and no one will ever hurt you again." But deep inside, Faizan knew this was only the beginning of a story filled with mystery, danger, and unexpected twists. And so the billionaire's lonely life changed forever. The morning light streamed softly through the large windows of Faizan's mansion, but the atmosphere inside was anything but calm. The unexpected visit from the police had left a strange feeling hanging in the air. Faizan sat quietly in the living room, watching Sammy and Sarah, the 2 children he had found the night before. They sat close to each other, still unsure of their new surroundings. The police officers had left a short time ago, But their questions stayed with Faizan. Who were these children? Why had they been abandoned? And why had no one else noticed them? Faizan's heart was heavy. Despite all his wealth and success, he had never felt so responsible for anyone before. The twins were scared and confused, but he promised himself to protect them no matter what. Later that day, another police officer arrived, this time with some documents. Faizan read the report carefully. Sammy and Sarah were reported missing from a town nearby. Their parents were nowhere to be found, and the police were worried about their safety. Faizan called a trusted lawyer friend to understand the legal steps. He knew he had to do the right thing, but at the same time, he didn't want to lose the children he had grown to care about. That evening, Faizan sat with Sammy and Sarah in the cozy living room. He spoke softly, trying to comfort them. "You are safe here," he said. "I will not let anything bad happen to you." The twins looked at him with wide eyes, still afraid but slowly trusting him. They held his hands tightly, as if holding on to hope. But Faizan knew the road ahead would not be easy. The police were just the beginning. There were shadows from the past that needed to be uncovered, secrets that someone wanted to keep hidden. That night, Faizan lay awake thinking about the children and their unknown story. He promised himself to find the truth, even if it meant facing danger. The next day, strange phone calls started coming to Faizan's phone. Nobody spoke, but the silence was loud and clear, a warning. Faizan showed the calls to his security team and told them to be extra careful. He was ready for anything. Meanwhile, Sammy and Sarah tried to find comfort in small moments. They played quietly in the garden, watched cartoons, and slowly started to smile again. Faizan felt a small light of hope in the darkness, but deep inside, he knew the mystery was not over. The twins' past held secrets that could change everything. Who had abandoned them? Why were their parents missing? And why was someone trying to scare them now? Faizan was determined to find answers. He knew the children needed him, and he would not let fear stop him. As the sun set, Faizan stood by the window, watching the world. Outside, the rain started to fall again, soft and steady. He whispered to himself, "No matter what comes, I will protect them." And with that promise, the billionaire prepared for the difficult journey ahead. Days passed, but the questions around Sammy and Sarah grew stronger. Faizan was determined to learn their story. He wanted to understand why two young children were left alone, why their parents disappeared, and who might be trying to hurt them. Faizan spent time gently talking to the twins. Every day, he would sit with them in the quiet of his mansion's garden. Slowly, they began to open up, but their words were few and careful. They were scared to speak about their past, as if remembering would bring danger. One afternoon, while helping tidy up the children's small room, Faizan noticed a small, folded piece of paper under Sarah's bed. Curious, he picked it up. It was a note written in shaky handwriting. The message was simple but strange. "Don't trust anyone. They are watching us. Find the safe place." Faizan's heart beat faster. Who had written this? Was it one of the twins? Or was it a warning left by someone else? That night, Faizan kept the note safe and decided to investigate further. He asked his close friend and private investigator, Kamran, to help find answers about Sammy and Sarah's family and the people they might be running from. Kamran started digging into the children's background. Within a few days, he found troubling information. Sammy and Sarah's parents had been involved in a fight against powerful people who wanted to take their family's wealth and property by force. The parents had stood strong to protect their children and their rights, but suddenly the parents disappeared. No one knew where they had gone. The police had searched but found no clues. Faizan realized the danger was bigger than he thought. The twins were not just lost children. They were part of a hidden war between families filled with greed and betrayal. Faizan returned home and shared what he had learned with Sammy and Sarah. The children listened quietly, eyes wide with fear, but also relief that someone finally knew the truth. Faizan promised them, "I will protect you. No one will hurt you, as long as I am here. The next day, Faizan found another strange message, this time left near the garden gate. It was a small box with a key inside, and a note that read, "The truth is hidden where your parents last stayed." Faizan's mind raced. He knew where to go, the old family house where the twins had lived before. It was time to uncover the secrets that had been hidden for so long. But danger was near. Someone was watching their every move, waiting to stop them from finding the truth. That night, Faizan stayed up late, planning the next steps. He looked at Sammy and Sarah sleeping peacefully and promised himself again, "No matter what, I will keep you safe. We will find the answers together." The billionaire's lonely life was now filled with purpose and hope, but also with risks he had never imagined. And so, the mystery deepened, pulling Faizan and the twins closer to a truth that could change everything. The morning sun poured gently through the windows of Faizan's study as he prepared for the journey ahead. The key they had found was the first real clue about Sami and Sarah's past. It was small, old, and mysterious, but it was a start. Faizan packed a small bag and told the twins, "Today we will visit your old home. It's time to find the truth." Sammy and Sarah held each other tightly, their faces full of fear and hope. They had never been back to their old house since they left, in a hurry. Neither knew what awaited them there. The ride to the old family house was quiet. The city streets gave way to dusty roads and tall trees. When they arrived, Faizan stopped the car in front of a large old building. The paint was faded, windows dusty, and the garden was overgrown with weeds. Faizan opened the gate slowly. The twins looked around carefully. "This place looks forgotten," Sarah whispered. Inside, the house smelled of dust and memories. The walls were cracked, and furniture was covered with white sheets. But Faizan noticed something unusual. The front door was unlocked. With a deep breath, Faizan stepped inside. Sammy and Sarah followed closely, their small hands holding his. Faizan began to search the house. In the living room, he found old photographs on a dusty table, pictures of a happy family, Sammy and Sarah with their parents. But the smiles hid a secret pain. As they moved from room to room, Faizan found a locked drawer in an old desk. The key they had found fit perfectly. Inside there were papers, letters, documents, and a small diary. Faizan opened the diary carefully. It belonged to the twins' mother. The words on the pages told a story of fear and danger. She wrote about threats from greedy relatives who wanted to take their family home and money. She wrote about how she and her husband planned to hide Sammy and Sarah from those who wanted to hurt them. Faizan read aloud, "We must protect our children at all costs. We will hide them until the danger passes." Sammy and Sarah listened silently, tears filling their eyes. For the first time, they understood why they had to leave everything behind. Faizan hugged them gently. "You were very brave," he said softly. "Your parents loved you very much." Suddenly, a noise outside caught their attention. Someone was moving near the garden. Faizan's heart raced. He quietly told the twins to stay inside while he went to check. Outside, he saw a shadowy figure disappear behind a tree. Faizan knew they were being watched. The danger was real and close. Returning inside, he locked the doors and windows. He realized their enemies were still nearby, trying to scare them. That night, Faizan sat with Sammy and Sarah, promising again to keep them safe. He knew they could not run forever. It was time to face the danger and fight for their future. The billionaire's life had changed completely, from loneliness to a mission to protect these two innocent children and uncover the truth hidden in the shadows. Faizan whispered to himself, "No matter what happens, I will not let them down." The mystery of the twins' past was unfolding, but the hardest part was still ahead. Days passed since Faizan, Sammy, and Sarah had visited the old family house. The twins felt stronger, but the fear still lingered in their eyes. Faizan could see it every time they looked around nervously or jumped at sudden sounds. The danger was real, and it was getting closer. Faizan worked with his private investigator, Kamran, to learn more about the people who threatened the twins' family. Kamran discovered the names of several powerful men who wanted the family's wealth. They would stop at nothing to get what they wanted. One evening, as Faizan was returning home from the office, his car was followed by a black SUV. He noticed the vehicle but stayed calm. He took a different route home, trying to lose the tail, but the SUV kept following. When Faizan finally reached his mansion, the SUV stopped a few meters behind. Two men stepped out and approached the gate. Faizan's security team quickly came forward and warned the men to leave. The men left, but the warning was clear. Faizan and the twins were being watched. Inside the house, Faizan sat with Sami and Bira, explaining the danger in simple words. "Some people want to hurt us because of your family's money, but I will protect you. You are safe here." Sami nodded, trying to be brave, while Sarah clung to Faizan's arm, tears in her eyes. That night, strange noises came from outside the mansion. Someone was trying to break in. Faizan's security team acted quickly and stopped the intruders. But the threat was no longer a secret. Faizan realized they could not stay quiet anymore. He decided to go public with the story, but carefully, so the twins would not be hurt. He called a trusted journalist friend and shared the truth about the twins' parents and the threats they faced. The news spread fast, putting pressure on the criminals, but the enemies didn't give up. One night, Faizan's mansion received an anonymous letter. It was a warning. "Leave the twins alone, or you will regret it." Faizan showed the letter to Sami and Sarah. "This is why we must be strong," he said. Despite the fear, the twins started to trust Faizan more. They knew he was their protector. Faizan felt a new strength inside him. For the first time in his life, he was not alone. He had a mission and a family. As he looked at the sleeping twins that night, he whispered, "No matter what, I will fight for you." The shadows around them were closing in, but Faizan was ready to face them. Faizan knew that the danger was growing. The threats, the shadows watching their every step. It was all too clear now. He could not let Sami and Sarah live in fear any longer. They needed safety, not just walls and security guards. One morning, Faizan called his lawyer and Kamran, his trusted investigator, for an important meeting. "We must find a way to protect the twins legally," Faizan said firmly. "If their parents are missing, maybe I can become their guardian." Kamran nodded. "That will give you the right to make decisions for them, but it will not stop the enemies from trying to harm them." Faizan was ready for that. He wanted to be the twins' guardian, their protector in every way. Meanwhile, Sami and Sarah started to feel a little more at home in Faizan's mansion. They laughed sometimes, played games, and even talked about school. Faizan arranged for a private tutor, so the twins would not miss their education. But the twins still had questions. One evening, Sarah asked softly, "Will we ever see our parents again?" Faizan's heart ached. "I hope so, Sarah. But until then, I promise to be here for you." The next day, Faizan prepared all the legal papers. The process of guardianship began. It was not easy. The police needed proof that the twins were in danger. Faizan worked with Kamran to gather evidence, threatening messages, reports, and the diary from the old house. As the guardianship process moved forward, Faizan also increased the mansion's security. Cameras were installed everywhere. Guards took shifts day and night. No one could get close without being noticed. One evening, as Faizan checked the security footage, he saw something shocking: a man sneaking near the garden fence. Faizan called his security team immediately. They chased the man away before he could do any harm. Faizan realized this was a warning. The enemies were growing desperate, but Faizan was not afraid. He was ready to face anything to protect Sami and Sarah. One night, the twins came to Faizan's room, holding a small drawing they had made together. It showed Faizan with Sami and Sarah, smiling under a bright sun. "Thank you, Uncle Faizan," Sami said softly. "You make us feel safe." Faizan smiled and hugged them. "You are my family now. Nothing will ever hurt you." The next morning, Faizan received a call from the court. The guardianship was approved. He was now the legal guardian of Sami and Sarah. Faizan felt a wave of relief and joy. But he knew the fight was not over yet. The past was still out there, waiting. Faizan whispered to himself, "We will face it together. I will never let you go." The billionaire's brave decision was only the beginning of a new chapter, filled with hope, love, and courage. Faizan woke up early that morning with a strange feeling in his chest. It was the kind of feeling that something important was about to happen. The twins, Sami and Sarah, were sleeping peacefully in the next room, unaware of the storm that was about to come. The court had given Faizan legal guardianship, but the mystery surrounding the twins' parents was still not solved. Faizan knew he had to find the truth, no matter what. That day, Faizan and Kamran decided to visit the police station again. They wanted to check if there was any new information about Sami and Sarah's parents. The police had been quiet for weeks, and Faizan was growing impatient. At the station, a senior officer met them. His face was serious but kind. He handed Faizan a file and said, "We have found something. The parents were involved in a secret deal with a business rival, but it went wrong. They disappeared to protect their children." Faizan felt a chill run down his spine. The truth was more complicated than he imagined. The officer continued, "We believe the parents are alive but hiding. They wanted to keep Sami and Sarah safe from danger." Faizan left the station with a new mission: to find the twins' parents and reunite the family. Back at the mansion, Faizan told Sami and Sarah the news gently. The twins listened carefully, hope shining in their eyes. "Your parents are alive," Faizan said softly, "and I promise we will find them." Days turned into weeks as Faizan and Kamran searched tirelessly. They followed every lead, every clue. The enemies who once threatened the family began to lose power because of the attention the story had received. One evening, Faizan received a call from a small town nearby. A woman said she had seen two people, Machi,